Ready? All right. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Adam Fries, and this is Lebanon Now's Vet Talk, and I'm joined by Representative Melissa Schmidt. And I have her here today to talk about a specific veterans bill that she is sponsoring. So I will let her have the table.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Adam. Always good to be with you. I am working alongside colleagues this upcoming session to provide some further support to our veterans. You know, they are very important to me. We owe them everything. My father-in-law is a Vietnam vet, and so any opportunity we can get to support our veterans, we need to take advantage of that. I'm a quick learner. Anyway, if you heard me speak on the campaign trail, I always talked about the importance of supporting our vets and looking for ways to do that. And I am still in my first session. Last year was my first year. And I spent a lot of time last year focused on some child care reform and foster care reform. And that was pretty all consuming. But this year I'd like to really focus on those things in addition to how we can further support our veterans. So I've got several colleagues who have filed the same piece of legislation. Essentially, it provides some tax relief for our veterans. Right now, if you're 100% disabled, you don't pay property taxes, as I know you know, but there's no relief if you're 99% disabled. And so essentially this proposed legislation would just give you a discount that matches your disability rating. So 10% disabled, you get a 10% discount on your primary resident tax. And so that is something that I think we have to be intentional when we're making tax cuts and when we're making those kind of decisions, because we all know that tax dollars are used for things that are valuable to all of us. So we need to be thoughtful and intentional when we're making those decisions. But I think if we're going to make decisions that can benefit anyone, our veterans deserve those kind of tax breaks. And so in a nutshell, that's what that is. Just as a reminder what the process looks like, that bill was filed during pre-filing. We are allowed to pre-file. That began December 1. We go back into session January 7, and we'll be still filing bills. The process after the pre-file is that it get referred to committee and that it be heard in committee and then referred to the House floor, and then, of course, move to the Senate to do all the same things on the Senate side before it be presented to Governor Kehoe. So just kind of a reminder of the process. It's not an easy task, but it should be difficult to make laws, I think. And so, but this is definitely one that I want to go to bat for, want to see how we can best benefit our veterans.
Well, personally, I hope it really goes through because I know there's a lot of individuals that are on fixed incomes, which leads to my next question. Can it be used in conjunction with the SB 190? So
the way it's written, you will use it to whichever benefits you the most.
Okay.
And so the other nuts and bolts of the legislation are, should you pass, your spouse could continue to use it. It also is an application process similar to SB 190. So you'll have to reapply each year. It's reevaluated each year, just to make sure that it stays consistent and accurate. But yes.
So after everybody passes it, where does it go from there? Who does it have to be signed by the governor?
If Governor Kehoe were to choose to sign it into law, then essentially that goes to the county level, and they'll be the one to manage that each month or each year.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, will the counties, like the SB 190, I know the commissioners were the ones to go ahead and say, yes, we'll take it, or no, we won't take it. Are they going to have the say-so in it?
So this piece of legislation, and please know it's early, so changes and amendments can be made based on feedback that we get from the county officials too. I always say I don't want to put into statute something that actually isn't going to work boots on the ground or is going to be very difficult to implement at the county level. And so fortunately, I stay in communication with our county officials, and but the way it's written, it will go county collector will actually navigate this one and take care of this one.
Okay, good. So where can they track it to see where it's at?
Yep, that's a great question. We were talking about that kind of off air.
Absolutely.
I always recommend tracking it at www.house.mo.gov. And that's kind of the easiest website to track legislation. You can also track by legislation, or you can look at each member of the House and kind of see, for example, the list of bills that I've pre-filed. You can take a look at State Rep Jeff Knights. You can look at everyone that serves in the House. Or you can search just by legislation, and you can search by topic. And so I think that's handy if you wanted to see all the pieces of legislation filed for veterans. You could just type in that keyword veteran, and all the pieces of legislation would come right there. And you can watch kind of how it goes through the system. You can always reach out to my office too. Via email, melissa.schmidt@house.mo.gov. Happy to help you track legislation and navigate what we're up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she showed me the website, and I went to a different website and I looked at the last year's stuff. So, but the house.mo.gov site, very, very easy to navigate. So, do you have anything else that's coming up?
There's several things coming up that I think would be imperative to our veterans. We always talk about their mental health. And one of the committees that I serve on is health and mental health. And so always hearing that topic. And so always keeping our ears and eyes open as to ways we can better support the mental health piece. For our veterans, for sure. And, that's always going to be something that's heavy on both of our hearts, I know. So, if I always say, I don't know everything about everything, but I might know a guy. And so I do know a guy. And I'm thankful that, you keep me kind of in the loop on what veterans might need. And so always reach out, always let me know if you come across something else that you think.
Well, I will say this. I have met a few politicians through my years, and between you and Jeff Knight, by far are the most involved with the veterans community, and I appreciate it, and I know a lot of the veterans really appreciate it. So
I'll quote, thank you. Since you brought up Representative Knight, I'll quote him. He always says on Veterans Day, the only thing wrong with Veterans Day is that we don't recognize veterans every day. We do take time that one day a year. So hope I didn't misquote him, but I'm pretty sure. And that's right. We need to be mindful of what they need every day. We owe them everything.
And speaking of veterans' needs, the holidays statistically are the toughest on veterans. So two things I want to get out there. If any veteran is in a crisis for whatever reason, please either get a hold of the VA or call the 988 number. And want to talk and get things out, I'm here. We'll sit, have a cup of coffee or whatever you need to do. On other news, though, for upcoming events, the VFW is having a live band, the Cover-Ups, on New Year's Eve at 9 p.m. It's a $10 cover charge, and there will be champagne toast at midnight, and they will have party favors, whatever party favors, little poppers maybe.
Blow.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you coming in, Melissa. It's always a pleasure talking with you. And for all my brothers and sisters out there, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and keep your head on swivel. I got your 6.